Hello, 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 and welcome to another Mad Rant with your favorite host, Straight Jacket White Rabbit, also known as Adam, you guys. This is not going to be a flashy video, you guys, with lots of, video clips and pictures involved in it, although there will be some. But this is more or less going to be a catch-up of what's been going on and the reaction, or lack thereof, from the public, you guys. So, without further ado, I want to start on the first topic, which is the CIA documents that have been released talking about the JFK assassination. That's right, you guys. The CIA has released documents now stating that they not only had contact with Oswald, but they had been watching him for years. At least a year up until the assassination beforehand, both before he left for Russia, when he went to Russia, and when he went to Mexico and visited the consulates of Russia and Cuba, supposedly. Now, that's hearsay because I've never actually heard of him doing that before, and it could all be disinformation. But the point here is that nobody seems to give a shit about or be talking about is that the CIA, you guys, for decades and decades now, have been going around telling everyone we had nothing to do with this. We never knew Oswald. We didn't interview him. We didn't track him. We didn't know about him. No, George de Mohrenschildt wasn't his handler, even though he was a known CIA handler, and became good friends with Oswald right before the assassination. But I want to get into some of the stuff that's been said on here. Now, I do have a little bit pulled up because I'm not very familiar with, like I said, the new documents, so I want to read some of the stuff that's come up here. But it says, pre-assassination monitoring. The CIA began opening Oswald's mail in 1959 when he defected to the Soviet Union. Declassified files detail that at least 35 CIA employees handled intelligence reports on him between 59 and 63. So the organization that said they had squat on him had 35 flippin' agents interacting with this dude's mail, following him, whatever they had them do. Once again, they released this to the general public, and because they do it in a batch of files, nobody cares. It's not that nobody knows. People read the files. I read some of them. Other news organizations have read some of them. They even did a few stories on it, but then it went away. This has only been a week and a half now since they dumped this batch of files. 35 people in the CIA. No, they never heard of him. They don't know anything about him. That doesn't seem shady. Now, it says the Mexico City trip, which, once again, I'm not entirely sure isn't propaganda and false information, but let's just read into this. The Mexico City trip. Weeks before the President John F. Kennedy's assassination, the CIA placed Oswald under surveillance when he made multiple visits to Soviet and Cuban diplomatic facilities in Mexico City. That sounds a lot to me like a cover-up of BS proportions, because now that they're linked to Oswald, obviously they have to have a valid reason why. And we all knew he went to the Soviet Union. The military knew he went to the Soviet Union. So it wasn't like we needed the CIA to keep tabs on him over there. You don't think if our military men and women went to the freaking Soviet Union back then, they weren't monitored by the military? I mean, along with other agencies, grant you. But it just sounds odd, man. Never before heard story, really. I mean, I'm not saying it was never before heard. I've heard similar things, but not to the degree that it detailed in this file. Now, then it says recent declassifications. Following documents released in 2025 last year, which, by the way, there was also more that was done at the beginning of this year that they just didn't tell everyone about. The CIA admitted that intelligence officers specializing in psychological warfare tracked and interacted with an operation that came into contact with Oswald prior to the assassination. What operation? Could it have been our operation? Pretty friggin' sure it was. Okay, the Russians did not brain mess Oswald. Neither did the Cubans. Okay, I don't believe that for a flippin' minute. And even his wife has come out and said that she believed, in one way or another, he was working with the CIA. So, once again, why is this a big deal? Because it proves the government's been lying to you guys for like 60 some odd years. And nobody's blinking an eye. Nobody's up in arms. Nobody's picketing Congress. You guys have freaking marches in the thousands for gas prices. You're not going to march for this? You're not going to demand the truth in the streets? What is wrong with society when we just accept outlandish treatment bordering on abuse of the public from our own government? It literally sickens me. And obviously, I'm not talking about the majority of you who watch my show, because I'd like to think that most of you are open-minded. I have gotten a couple messages from a fringe few that are a little more closed-minded than me, but for the most part, I'd like to think you guys are an open-minded crew of people. Does this piss you off as much as it pisses me off? Because I'm telling you right now, man, I am not happy with this. I'm not happy with any of it. I'm not happy with the fact that they've been lying for 60-plus years and then just came out and said it and nobody cared. Everybody just went, oh, yeah, look, CIA was involved. Like, are you freaking kidding me? That deserves a little bit more than oh, yeah, oh, you were right, or, oh, yeah, I guess they were there. We've already put together the other parts of my other video I did, you guys, on the JFK assassination. Go watch it. Okay, Oswald did not act alone. There was a second shooter. Kennedy's head went back and to the left, which means the shooter was front of him and to the right. That's the grassy knoll. I'm sorry. Logic doesn't argue. And no magic bullet theory that doesn't make any kind of freaking sense according to physics is going to convince me otherwise. So down and dirty, let's putting our cards all on the table right now, right here. The JFK assassination was the CIA, at least partially the CIA. Could have been other government agencies in on it? Absolutely. Do I believe the CIA might have gotten some Secret Service in on it? Absolutely. Look at the fact that his detail was minimalized. He had a tiny detail, you guys, when he was shot. Look at all the people that conspired and changed facts on the actual report of his death. They changed the description of wounds to fit their story better and admitted to it. And then some of them became presidents and vice presidents and heads of CIA and other nonsense. The rabbit hole on this goes deep. And now we're being vindicated by the agency we've been making these accusations against for over 60 years. I'm telling you, we live in a madhouse. Now, putting that aside, not that I can, I want to talk to you guys about the freaking UFO file releases that have happened, both batches, okay? Yes, once I get through them all, I'll do a little video or breakdown of them all myself, or maybe even, heck, I'll do a live on it, since my lives are going to be coming up very soon. I know I keep saying that, but we're nearing the 100th video, and right around there is when I want to do it. So it's going to be really soon, you guys, I promise. But I want to talk to you about these declassified freaking videos and files, you guys. Once again, what in the hell is wrong with the general public? Everyone who's known about this subject or done any kind of serious research into it whatsoever, be you a reporter, just a regular individual, be it professional ufologists, Any of them, astrophysicists, anyone who's done serious research into this has had major questions about this, and they've all been told the same answer, mostly by the Pentagon, which is, we don't know anything about it, and they're not a real phenomenon. They're just misidentified objects like weather balloons and geese and the planet Venus or Uranus, or ridiculous cover stories. But now that same exact freaking place, the Pentagon, is the ones that everyone's trusting to do the declassification of all these videos that are coming out. Now, in case you didn't catch that, the Pentagon is the ones releasing this. They're rubber stamping what gets sent out, what doesn't. Well, if they're rubber stamping it because they have it and they have access to it, that right there is an admission of a lie. You were lying to us, Pentagon. What's going on? Not that anyone expects anything more from the Pentagon than a handful of lies. But you know what? This proves it to everyone who is saying they can't be trusted. And all those regular folk out there, the vanilla people, sitting there telling me, oh, you're crazy. They wouldn't do that. They have our best interest at heart. If they're hiding something, they're doing it for a good reason. No longer looks like a good reason, you guys. It looks like a financial reason. And it looks like a reason of warfare so that the war hogs and the war pigs in the Pentagon can keep doing what they like to do, which is starting wars and making money. Because let's face it, that's what wars are about nowadays. They're about money. If you have unlimited energy and advanced technology of the stature we're talking about, wars are a thing of the past. Unlimited energy, no more fighting over oil, or no more fighting over oil or useless plots of land here and there or imaginary borders. It would all go away if it's true. As soon as we unlock the technology, it all goes away. But now we know that a lot of people believe, at least, that this secret is largely in the hands of defense contractors. That's right. Not even our government. Companies that build weapons for our governments. Places like, Lockheed Martin and all of them. And I told you in one of my last few videos, you guys, that I did on this subject, it was in a bill. They had this bill ready to go, man, that these companies could no longer have this stuff and everything else. And they stripped the best parts of that bill, including the fact that they were no longer going to be covering for these freaking tech companies that got a hold of this technology to reverse engineer it. And it all got stripped. Well, why did it get stripped? Because these companies, like Skunkworks and everything else, throw millions and billions of dollars at congressmen and lobbyists and all other manner of officials. It's all about the money. These people don't give a dang if we survive this freaking coming tech war. They don't care who gets the tech first, be it China, Russia, us, whoever. They care about the dollar signs being shown to them. It's like Jerry Maguire all over again. Show me the money. Sorry, you're supposed to yell that. Show me the money! No. But that's what it is. I'm firmly convinced that these people are strictly hiding this for financial gain at this point. Because let's face it, they've been caught red-handed. The Pentagon, the place that is always, out of everyone, the Pentagon has always been a rock of the story. We don't know anything about this. There's nothing to see here. They're geese. And now they're turning over hundreds of documents. Over, I think it's 60 videos now. Yes, some of them are stupid videos of just UAPs that are not UFOs. They're just unidentified crud. Some of them look like drones. Some of them look like balloons. And I think they threw those in on purpose, to be honest with you. But then there's some, like the Chandelier UAP and the other ones that they've shown recently where these things are breaking warp speed, jerking in directions at an instant Like instantaneously just going from this direction super fast to dead stop and back this way. You'd flip and turn a pilot into jello if you did that with the technology we have today. But the Pentagon's releasing more and more, and yes, some of the videos were already leaked by other people. Everyone makes a big deal out of that. So what? Read the writing on the wall, you guys. We have hit a new point in history when it comes to the cover-up. They can no longer say it doesn't exist. All they can try for now is the line of, we don't know what it is. Well, how long do you think the American people are really going to sit here and be okay with that answer? Because we thought it was going to be forever, to be honest. People in my circle, at least. But since 2016, right around there, the interest has grown substantially, you guys. The numbers of people interested in this topic have skyrocketed. Look at the hit numbers on the UFO websites that the government just put up. It's in the billions now. Over 1 billion views to that website. That is saying something. I think it's close to like a little over 1.5 billion views right now. It's absurd amount of people all of a sudden interested in this. That, as far as I know, there weren't that many people interested in this back when I was growing up, okay? If you were into UFOs and things, you were kind of an outsider, a freak, and a loner. And if you weren't and you were into UFOs, you usually kept it to yourself unless you had a tight inner circle that you could talk about it with. Now you've got congressmen, presidents, heads of state, royalty from all around the world discussing this topic. We have hit disclosure. People go, well, when's disclosure going to happen? Open your freaking eyes. You're in it. Now, like I've said many times before, don't get me wrong, nobody's coming out and going, we've been lying to you since before Roswell. I severely doubt that's going to happen. Because people have died over this, you have to remember. People have been injured, people have been killed, people have been bought off and silenced. You can't explain all that away by just coming out in the open and saying, yeah, we did it. You'd be crucified. Your organization, whichever one it was, would be done. The people, I honestly believe, as much as the people in this country right now are cattle, I honestly believe that this would be something that starts a stampede. You know what I mean? People would revolt if the government just openly came out and said that. So they're not going to do that. But what they're going to do instead is what I said before in one of my videos they were going to do, which is a slow drip declassification. They're going to release a bunch here and a bunch there until they go, oh yeah, now we know what they are. Or until we've won the tech war with the alien or alternate universe or whatever you want to call it, technology. We unlock it first, and I mean all of it first. I don't see them not disclosing who these pilots were, who's been piloting these crafts, where they're from, things like that. But until then, yeah, we're probably going to get a very, very slow drip of declassification. I mean, Jesus, dude, like I said, we were just talking about the Kennedy files, dude. That's 60 some odd years ago. And we're just learning about the CIA being involved. What are we going to learn in the next 60 years about this program? God, I hope it doesn't take 60 years. And I don't think it will. Like I said, too many naysayers, man. Too many negative people out there. And I really, you know what, dude? I don't trust the government, just like a lot of you don't trust the government, okay? Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying have faith in the government, guys. I'm saying have faith in people. Because as dumb as a lot of individuals are and as ignorant as a lot of individuals are about this topic, they're waking up. And they're not waking up by the tens or the dozens or the, hundreds. They're waking up by the thousands, by the hundreds of thousands or more. Like I said, look at the hits on all these stories recently that have come out across Fox News. The released files on the UFO website the government just opened up. There's billions of people interested in this now, and their eyes are all focused right now on the United States. Other governments are even making a buzz about this. Governments who don't openly talk about UFOs are now talking about UFOs. We have started something that I guarantee you, there's no putting the lid back on this. There's no putting the genie back in the bottle. We've declassified the fact that, we've got tons of information, videos and records and reports. They released stuff going back to the days of the Apollo missions. Now, don't get into, I don't want to see a bunch of people in the chat room, the moon landing was fake. I don't care. That's not the point. The point is people like me have been screaming for years that NASA were scrubbing their photos. Turns out they were. And this just doesn't count for NASA. This means a lot of other corporations were probably involved. There are other places other than governments that have access to space, you guys. Places that launch satellites. Places like, I don't know, Elon Musk's company. They have to know more than they're saying. They just do. Don't you think? But my problem and my reason for the mad rant today, you guys, is the ignorance of the American people going, oh, this isn't enough. This is more than we've gotten in like 100 years. You guys, this is, I'm not going to say this is as good as it gets, but this is good. That's why if you look, all the serious mainstream and even a lot of the serious not mainstream ufologists are all very excited right now. Now, there are a few naysayers in the group who are going, well, they're nitpicking about what they're sending out because they're grumpy that they know things that are bigger and better that haven't been released yet. And I get that. But don't sit here and tell me that disclosure's not happening. We've dumped and disclosed more as a government. The United States government has dumped and disclosed more than they ever have in the history of this topic. They have openly discussed this topic more in the last 2 years than they have ever done previously, combined. So don't tell me it's not working. It is working. It's just not working fast enough for some people. And this is only the tip. I keep telling you guys, man, wait for it. Because people's interests are growing. Their interests have been piqued. They're going, really? Okay. Well, if this is true, then I want to go back and talk about this. Well, let's pull up these files. Well, let's look into this story. And you start pulling at enough of these little threads, you guys, and guess what happens? Their story starts unraveling. They can't keep the lies straight anymore. Between the whistleblowers and the people defecting into, hidden witness protection type programs, people who are high-ranking military people coming out and doing movies on the subject now. Now, I'm not saying that this is all straightforward information. Some of it, I'm sure, is disinformation. But no, once again, jumping into things that piss me off, this is not disinformation because it's our technology secretly. I'm not saying we don't have things like it. We've been reverse engineering it for this long. I'd hope to hell we have something like it. Even if it is minimally like it. But what I'm saying is don't sit there and try to sell me on the fact that these are Russian craft or Chinese craft or American craft that we've been testing since the flippin' 40s and 50s. That is fucking ridiculous. Pardon my French. But that is seriously absurd to believe that. And it honestly really ticks me off when I see people who haven't done their research, who've watched like 12 videos online and think they know everything about this subject, come out and talk out of their other end about how, oh yeah, this is just us. Oh, see, yeah, Area 51 was where we were creating things like the Blackbird and all this other stuff. So this is the same thing. We're just keeping these craft secret until it's time to use them. You don't know how a tech war works, do you? You have it first. You've perfected it first. You don't let the other people have time to finish and perfect theirs. You don't let other countries have time to keep reverse engineering until they figure it out and finally catch up to you. If we had the technology, 100% of the things we've seen in the air that can do the things these things can do, no country in this world, not one, would not be a sovereign territory or looked after of the person or country that discovered this. You don't think that if the Chinese had already unlocked this, that we all would not be speaking Chinese? You don't think if the Russians had this, that they would... They forget Ukraine. They take the entirety of the USSR back and put it back together, and probably then some. America, we'd do the same thing. People go, we wouldn't take over other countries. Bullshit. We really would. This is, like I said, this is game over technology, okay? We get it, we win. They get it, they win. Period. There is no ifs, ands, or buts, because the first one to get it will have to use it to keep the others from getting it. It's called maintaining a level ahead positioning. If we're a level ahead, we don't want other countries to catch up. Cool, we stop them using our new technology that they can no longer defend against. So all these blasé answers and, oh, well, it's China's secret program. No, it's not. I kid you not, you guys. I saw one guy in a chat room the other day saying it was Cuba. Yes, Cuba. For those of you who have ever seen Cuba or been to Cuba or know anything about Cuba's tech industry, that's not even laughable. That's just, I feel bad for the guy that said that because you look like a moron. So don't be a downer about this, you guys. Disclosure is here. It's happening now. Is it the kind most people wanted? No. But we were never going to get that. That was a pipe dream. That was a very, very silver lining at the edge of we'd like this to happen. But in the broader scale, we're in the middle of a holy shit storm of they're admitting it. They're admitting these things exist. They're admitting that they've been tracking them and watching them and keeping notes on them for ever. They're starting to come unraveled. And more and more and more is just going to keep coming. So what do? Do we sit by like all these freaking cattle-minded people on the internet who are going, I want disclosure? You're getting it. Keep paying attention. Read what you've written. Get out there and talk to people about it. Don't keep it to yourself. Maybe your friends aren't watching this because they're not into it and they're just trying to not pay attention to it. I've noticed a lot of that too. People just going, I've asked people, hey man, did you hear about the files that just got released? And they're like, what files? The UFO files. Oh, well, it's not really my thing. The disillusionment of the entire planet isn't your thing. Technology that could change the shape of our future down to the very fabric of our beings is not a you thing. Not something you're into. No matter which way you come at this, from the sci-fi angle of wanting to know if we're alone, to the biblical angle, did they create us? How many different angles you want me to list before one of them catches your eye? But a lot of these people, like I said before in many, many videos, you guys, it's like the Matrix. They're plugged into the system and they're so hopefully hooked on it that anything that rubs them slightly the wrong way or goes against the public touted line scares and offends them. So they'll fight against it. But I'm telling you right now, disclosure is here, number one. Number two, it's not just UFO disclosure. They're losing their grip on secrets all over the place. JFK assassination included. People holding the keys to these secrets are tired, and they're running out of room to bullcrap people anymore. They can't do it anymore. People are getting smarter. They're tracking down the paperwork and doing the legwork to investigate these things. And on top of all of that, the people guarding these secrets don't know who they can trust because their own people are starting to come forward as whistleblowers left and right. High-ranking admirals, lieutenants, captains, generals, they're all coming forward and saying, yeah, it's true. We just recently, you guys, for God's sake, had a ex-CIA officer say that the U.S. government is aware of at least 4 types of alien beings. Did you see that one? The Nordics, the Mantis, the Greys, and I can't remember what other 4th one they said. I think they said reptilians on that list. But I've heard stories of more than 4, but even if it's just 4, this is a CIA operative, ex-CIA operative, but still, coming forward and going, yeah, no, the government has knowledge of at least these 4 species. I'd be thrilled if they'd announce 1 and tell us some information on them, who they are, where they're from. These people know 4? 4! I mean, we've got to dive deeper on this. We've got to keep a handle on it. And most of all, we've got to quit going, this isn't disclosure. When this all started taking place in the 40s and 50s, you guys, and becoming mainstream then, I'm not saying it didn't happen before then, but becoming mainstream then, from then till now, there was nothing. There was no release of information that was all huge, with the exception of accidental releases, like the moron army, like the moron Army Air Force that released the newspaper clipping from Roswell. But for the most part, there's been nothing. We've gotten more in the last few years than we've gotten in decades and decades and decades and decades and decades of information being withheld from us. And it's all coming out. So be thankful it's coming out. Look into these videos. Watch them. Read all these reports. See what you can find. Certain dates printed in the right way can link you to other crash sites. There's a lot of ways to put information together from these reports that are coming out. But one thing I don't want to hear is a bunch of naysaying people on my page. No offense. Like I said, I don't think there's any here. But you never know. Going, oh, it's just, it's just the Russians in suits that make them look alien, and they're abducting people in the United States and all over the world to do experiments on them as some kind of a psyop. No. I'm not saying that people don't abduct people. People abduct people all the time. But this is different. You can feel that this is different. The air in the room has changed. It's no longer a thick and, smoke-like atmosphere where you can't see 2 feet in front of you. It's no longer the subject is no longer being suffocated. And while it is being picked through and chosen how to declassify things to us and at what time and what kind of information, it's still better than no admission whatsoever. So keep your head up and keep your eyes open, because they're declassifying a lot. And whether you appreciate it or you don't, the truth is out there. Take care of each other, love each other, and until next time, this has been Adam with Straight Jacket White Rabbit, saying disclosure is real and it's happening now.